Good afternoon, good morning, good evening. Hopefully, you'll read this book right before you go to bed. So, the name of this book is called Goodnight Moon. This is the front, this is the back. And can anybody tell me what this is? The spine. Remember, always remember the spine holds your book together. So, and yet again, this is a big book. I kind of like big books because they're easier to read for me sometimes, especially when I read a lot of books. And I read a lot. So, and it's easier for you guys to see. But Miss Donna's going to get a little comfortable, right? Y'all like that? I had to get comfortable because this book is big. And the last big book I read to you guys, I had a fight with that book. So I decided I'd prop my knee up since I don't have a stand to put my book on. I'll use my knee as a stand to help support it because they get heavy after a while. So this book is Goodnight Moon. There's the moon, and we see stars. Do any of you have a fireplace? I do. And there's a picture of the cow jumping over the moon and some nice little things on the fireplace. And this book was written by Margaret Brown, and the pictures were drawn by Clement Hurd. Okay. In the great green room, there was a telephone and a red balloon and a picture of. Can you guys bring it forward so you can see it? I tell you what, guys. Let me tell you something. This is not the way Miss Donna normally reads to you guys. We're normally in the same room, but we got to just make the best of what we got, okay? Virtual learning, me in one place, you somewhere else. But we're going to get through this book, okay? So, it said a big red and a red balloon and a picture of the cow jumping over the moon. And on this side, and there were 3 little bears sitting on chairs. You see that, guys? And 2 little kittens and a pair of mittens. And a little toy house and a young mouse. So there's the pair of mittens. Can you see the 2 little kittens? Let's see. Oh, there are the 2 kittens. And the toy house. I hope I didn't move that too fast for you guys. There's a mouse. 2 little kittens. The mittens. And the toy house. And guess what? When we get back to the classroom, we have a toy house in our classroom, and you guys are going to have fun playing in it, okay? Trust me. We have a lot of cool things in the classroom. Those of you that have been in our room before, you know. And a comb and a brush and a bowl full of mush. So a long time ago, people used to call oatmeal or grits mush. So mush is nothing nasty. It's just a different name for some of the things that we eat now. And a quiet old lady who was whispering, "Shh, hush." Oh, I told you this book is huge. Good night, room. He's telling everything in the room good night. Goodnight moon. Good night, cow jumping over the moon. Good night, light and the red balloon. Good night, bears. Good night, chairs. Hope you can see it all. Good night, kittens. Good night, mittens. Oh, I told you this book is big, guys. It's big, it's big, it's big. It's bigger than me. No, not bigger than me, but it's big. Good night, clocks, and good night, socks. Do you tear your socks good night at night? I don't. Maybe I should. Maybe that way when I go to the washer and put them in the dryer, that both of them will come out the dryer. That's another story for another day. Because I don't know why, because my socks disappeared. Good night, little house. And good night, mouse. See, little mouse. Good night, comb. And good night, brush. Does anybody know some of the colors that are on this page? There's green and blue and red and white stars. And what color are his pajamas? They're blue and white. Can you see them? And he has a nice... Do you make up your bed? My mom used to always make me make my bed in the morning before I go to school. So I learned early how to make my bed. Good night, clock. And long before there were cell phones that looked like this, the telephone used to look like that. Good night, nobody. There's nothing on that page. Good night, mush. And good night to the old lady. Okay, wait a minute. And good night to the old lady whispering, hush. Good night, stars. Good night, air. Good night, noises everywhere. So when it's time to go to sleep, just tell everything good night. And that is the end of this book. And I hope you guys really enjoyed Goodnight Moon, because it's a really cool book and it has a lot of colors. Like I said, on the pages, there are a lot of colors and there are a lot of things that you can spy. What can you spy with your little eyes? Look really good. Look really good. And guess what? When we do our next Zoom call, I'm going to ask you guys, what did you like in Goodnight Moon? So try to remember something that was in the book. There was a mouse. There was a little house. There were kittens and mittens and socks and a old lady that said hush. Shh. And there was the stars and the moon, a fireplace. The cow jumped over the moon. The three little bears sitting by the dish. So I hope you really liked it. I'm trying to get better at this reading books to you guys on the computer. So with that being said, I'll talk to you soon. So good night, Moon.